Hello, everybody. This is your friend Bill Greeter, and I just wanted to kind of supplement our mapping um, project with a little bit talk about the 8 wastes, kind of focus on those as we watch the Cat 1 assembly process, the chassis. So this slide is actually from the mapping the mapping presentation I sent a couple weeks ago. But I think it's worth rehashing. The process is we want to map our current process. That's what we're in the process of building right now. We want to identify all areas of waste. And there's 8 specific wastes that we're going to be trying to identify. We're going to brainstorm to develop some ideas, a parking lot, if you will. We're going to identify opportunities for improvement, the future state, what we want it to look like. If we had to start over, what would it look like? I want to implement changes, measure and adjust, and plan for continuous improvement. In other words, A3s that can go on the board that you guys are getting really good at. TPS principle 2, there's 14 principles in the Toyota production system. And again, we're not trying to build the Toyota production system at PTA. We're trying to build the PTA production system. But principle 2, I think it's worth, the 14 principles are still very relevant for any company. And principle 2 is create a continuous process flow to surface problems. And the idea there is, as like a river, if a part starts and just keeps moving from A to B to C until it's finished without interruption, without stopping, even if it's moving slowly, but it doesn't stop. That's called flow. And that's always the goal. We've tried to achieve flow. And here's the things that interrupt flow, the reasons why flow gets stopped. There are 8 wastes. And there's waste in, obviously, in paperwork, information lead time, and also manufacturing lead time. We're going to focus right now on the right side, the manufacturing lead time. And we have to assume that 95% of the lead time is non-value added. And what that means is value added work means it's work that we're doing to add value to the part. In other words, we're turning the part into something our customer will be happy to pay for. The non-value added work part of this is all the work that we do that our customer isn't interested in paying for. They won't pay for. You can't charge them for it. So let's get into what's the non-value added 8 wastes. Here they go. And you can remember it really easily if you can. Try to commit this to memory. You can use the acronym downtime, DOWNTIME. And the first one is defects. If we see a defect in a raw material, we see a defect in a finished good, then obviously flow has to stop, right? And that comes out of our end, costs us time. It has to be put aside, might have to be moved back into inventory, might have to be reworked. We have to do something with it. And then 2, overproduction. Overproduction is considered, that means that I'm pushing materials to the next station instead of pulling. Like, in other words, pulling means I'm giving it to the next station when they're ready. Pushing means I'm giving it to them whether they need it or not. And a lot of times you'll see that they'll be sitting in a queue, it'll be sitting waiting. That's the next waste. Materials wait in queues. They wait to get worked on. They wait for it to be used. Also, people wait. People are waiting because they're waiting for a part. They're waiting because they haven't got enough, they don't have anything to work on yet. So a lot of waiting. And then non-essential processing means that we're doing more work. We're doing extra stuff to the part that maybe we don't need to do. And this could be extra quality testing or extra inspections or anything like that. And then transportation means unnecessary movement of materials. And there's a distinction between the waste of extra transport and excess motion. Motion means people moving. All right. So we talked about non-value added work versus value added. I can't go on the customer invoice when I send them the bill and say, oh yeah, by the way, there's a $100 transport charge because we had to move the materials 500 feet. Of course, they won't pay that. That comes out of our end. So far, defects, overproduction, waiting, non-essential processing, transport, and then inventory obviously is the result of overproduction, and inventory is a waste because we have to go store it somewhere. It could get damaged while it's being stored. You might find that there's defects sitting in inventory that you don't know about. There's a whole bunch of problems with having excess inventory and why it's one of the 8 wastes. Motion talks for itself. It's how much of that work that you see is unnecessary movement and motion by people, bending, twisting, walking, all that kind of stuff. And the last one is unused employee brain power. And that's where the waste there is if people are just being thought of as robots, where here's your task, do your task, don't communicate, don't coordinate, don't strategize together, don't help each other, just do your job. That's unused employee brain power. So I hope this helped you. If please feel free to call, or touch base with Doug, Greg, Jim Harris, or myself if you have any questions about this. But hopefully that you have a better understanding of the 8 wastes. Have a great day. This is me signing off.